These are all my blocks. They've been folded up in a pouch to keep them tidy, yeah. So I am gonna probably end up ironing some of them before they get put together. Couple of things I want to say. Where shall I start? Let's start with this misnomer that people don't seem to, or maybe it's just that it has not been explained sufficiently to people in the past. We talk about a 12-inch block. These are going to be, hopefully, end up as 12-inch blocks. But before they are a finished 12-inch block, they are an unfinished 12.5-inch block. Alright, let's think about that for a minute. Why do I say that? Because if, like, we're only doing this in a long row, this is just a long row, yeah? So there will be 1/2 inch taken up in a seam with a border. 1/4 inch, sorry, taken up in a seam with a border. That side and that side. Which ends up, you've lost 1/2 inch. This may, depending on what you're making, I'm talking in general now, this may lose 1/4 inch in a seam to an end border or to another block. This side would lose 1/4 inch to its companion block as we move along. So 12.5 inches unfinished, 12-inch finished, which means it's sewn into everything. That's the difference in when people say finished or unfinished. Finished does not mean, oh yeah, you completed the block, there it is. No, that's still unfinished because it's not sewn in to everything else around it. The next thing I want to say is that no matter how carefully we've made our blocks, and I have put up videos, you know, of me showing you how to use a scant quarter and not too thick a thread, a strong thread but not too thick, and you know, to try and equalize your lovely blocks that you've cut precisely. Hopefully that's the first bit, cut the size of the patch, you know, your little patches the right size in the first place. Then you need to use, if you've got a lot of seams, a scant quarter. If you've only got a few seams, it's not so important because you're not losing it 3-4 times over as you go. And also your thickness of thread. So I put a video up on that. So now basically I'm taking this as my end block, the block that I want to start with. It's not the hang down block, that's going to come, but I'm just starting with this one, which is going to be, if you like, this is the disappearing line block, and hopefully you have made this one, because it's one, I'm just getting some rulers out of the way so I can get to something I personally have, which helps me a lot, which is a 12.5-inch ruler, yeah? So, as I said, unfinished, this should be a 12.5-inch block. Now, look at this. I'm putting it on, and actually, it's a lot bigger, isn't it, than 12.5 inch. So, this block definitely needs to get resized. You see, with a disappearing line block, if you've seen the video and watched the method, you'll understand why this block in particular, this particular block, is difficult to work with, because we start off with it being a lot bigger and we cut it in quarters rearrange the blocks and sew it back together. So it's not really going to be precise, but that's an end block. The next block I want to show you. I'm trying to think on my diagram how I work this out. I think the next block I wanted to put in was the friendship block that was designed by Sam, our member. She made this block entirely on her own. Of course I redrew it, because obviously her blocks were quite a bit smaller in her particular quilt, but she allowed me to redraw it. Now, I can put this on. Yeah. Very happy with that. Look at that. Yeah. That one happens to be a 12.5-inch block. But, here we go. We need to sew it, and we've got a seam that must match. So you see the mismatch of sizes. Don't worry about it for now. We're doing this one at a time. Now the next block is going to be on mine. It won't be on yours. What's it going to be on mine? Oh yeah, one of these navy blue ones. Right. This was a block that I made. And after when I say I made, I drew, I designed myself. I liked it. I thought it was very simple, and it looked good to me. Now, on some of my videos, or my ways that I was looking at it, I thought, well, I'll have it that way up. And I know I fussy cut it to be that way up. My little birds are the right way up, but it doesn't matter. I have now decided that, considering in my own mind how I like things to look, that I want it to work with the navy blue top and bottom. I've just decided that this triangular, I just decided I want it this way around. But here's the thing now. If I put this on, again, this is shorter, this is smaller again, okay? It's not 12.5 inches, it's not the right size, all right? And then we can move on and we can say, well, okay, the central block, Lily Star, that's the central block, isn't it? And this one we really did have to work hard on to make sure that all the seams were, well, again, that's not the right size. When I get my 12.5-inch ruler out, I can really see, no, this is not working. This is not the right size. Okay, so that's a bit out. I'm just moving through for a minute so you can see, although my work might look, oh, bloody marvellous, no, when you come to put things together, but you don't cut anything until you've had a good look at it and see where you want to go. That's not quite, it's good, not quite. That'll be the next one to that one. And then I got, I think I'll be using the friendship block from Sam again after that, because I'm mirroring it obviously from the centre. That is really good. Thank you, Sam, because your block works out really well. And then the last one is another disappearing line block to be right at the other end, which I think I want this way round, because I want this to follow the other direction. And I put that on, and no, do you know what? No, that's actually a lot too big as well. A lot too big, that one. So here we go. Now I'm looking, now these should be right, because I worked really hard on this for it to be right. So let's just see. These are the hanging blocks either end. Is it right? Oh, yeah, spot on. So that's correct. Is this right? The other block, the other end. Putting it on, looking at it, spot on. Right, so I know that those two are brilliant. I don't need to do anything with that. Okay, so I'm just working through, and I'll just put it back, keep it in the right order, but I'll pull it back so we start where we need to start. Now, it's like anything. Can I just say for a moment before I turn this off and start to work? Yeah. We know that's far too big. We know that this one is little bit this way or that way, not too bad. And then Lily start, no, then it's my block. Oh, hang on. And we know that that one's not brilliant either. But I would say to start in the middle. I always say start in the middle, yeah? And that happens to be my smallest block. So let's forget everything else for a minute and start in the middle. Now, I did say to you, obviously, things that I have made. This one is not 12.5 inches by any stretch of imagination. It's short, but height-wise, it's good. Width-wise, not so good. Okay. If I was to centralise it, it's a bit longer that way. Yeah, whatever. But can I make this point to you? I am not concerned about how it is widthways because it's one row of blocks, so it doesn't matter. The important thing that we want to look at really is height, because we want the height of the blocks to all be the same to be able to put our borders on, yeah? The width of the block really is immaterial. But the other thing I want to say to you is, as I said, I've had these in my bag and folded up for a little while. So pressing can make all the difference. So now, height-wise, I'm only, on this one, I'm only about less than a quarter inch out, really, on this one. And I start in the middle. The reason why I start in the middle is because if you were to start one end and sew one block to another, then sew another block to another, it would bend. You'd end up on a twist. So start in the middle and work out. That way you are more likely to keep things even. Yeah. So anyway, this block, as I said, there's hardly anything in it. It's nearly great top to bottom. And all we are, oh, hang on, I might have it round the wrong way. Let me think. That's the right way up. Like, I'm only looking at my birds. Oh, right, now, if I put it the right way up, we're a good quarter of an inch out, yeah? So, as I said, I've had it folded up, so I'm going to go and iron it. I am going to now go and press it using a bit of steam, and I'm going to go and press it again, and you'd be surprised the difference that makes. Okay, I've just gone and ironed that again, and I'm going to put my board back on. Ooh, even better now. Getting better. And what am I doing? When I got this on the ironing board, yeah, this is the bit, this is the end that I feel is not quite making it, yeah. So I'm putting my iron, I put my iron in the centre, and with the weight of the iron and my pressure with my hand, I'm pulling that stitch in, and as I'm pulling it, I'm ironing it and pushing it back, yeah. I'm pulling it, and with steam I'm pushing it back, and then with the weight of my iron on it, this end I'm pulling it, and with the steam I'm pulling it back, yeah. because that's my, oops, sorry, just dropped my ruler. That's my concern at the moment. That end's good, this end is good. The only bit that's not good so far, it's getting better. Can you see how it's getting better? I got a eighth, I got a dip here, and I got a dip there. The bottom is fine. So I'm just working on that bit and that bit with the iron and with the steam. I'm certainly not unpicking the thing. Back again. Oh, oh, looky me now. Looky me now. Oh, look at that now. If you went and rewound this video, this was an awful lot smaller a few minutes ago. Yeah, I mean, I know there are going to be purists out there that are saying, well, you should centralise your seams and what have you and cut it to size and what have you. But nah. This is how you make. We're not doing a whole quilt. We just want this block to be long enough, and it wasn't. So this is how we do it, right? Now I'm not going to do any more to that. I'm happy with that, and that is just re-ironing it, steaming it, re-ironing it, what have you, right? The next block, which is going to be to the, I'm going to do the one to the left, okay? Again, put my thing on. If I put, as I said, I'm not worried side to side. I'm more concerned top to bottom, I'm about just middle, I'm an end, this end, I'm about 1/4 inch out. So I am now going to iron and steam that again and come back to you. Look at that now, yeah? Top to bottom, it's fitting. I'm not worried about the sides. Top to bottom, it's fitting. Although I did think, do you know what, at the end of the day, I think I'm going to do it this way around. If I was going to do it that way around, wouldn't I? It's even shorter that way around. Not going to. I'm going to keep it this way around. So now, that's going to fit. Now, while that hasn't had time to acclimatise, I mean, it's not hot or anything, but, you know, over time things do move. So, while I got that one and that one, I know will fit. They will fit well. We don't have any seams to match up, but we do have a point we don't want to lose. So, I am just gonna, there's no seam. I am, well, you know, I'm going to do it here, actually, because that corner is meeting fine, yeah, and now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to say, well, that corner is meeting fine. Don't mind about all these straggly bits, because we're not worried about width, we're worried about these, we want to keep it straight in line. We want the top and the bottom to stay straight. And the only other things that I'm concerned about here, and I can't use a pen, I'm going to have to use a charcoal because it's on navy blue, yeah. The other thing that I don't want to do is to lose that point there on my, can you see I've got a point there, which I don't want to use, so I'm just, will my charcoal work? Yeah, just about. Well, I can see it anyway. Yeah. So I just want to look at where my charcoal comes. You probably won't be able to see this, but it's good enough for me, yeah? I'll put a pin in the middle, but before I sew this, and it will be a scant quarter to get these in correctly, I will sew, stop, lift, watch, do that, sew, lift, watch, and do that, yeah? But now you can see, and what I might actually do to make sure it doesn't shift is just plop a pin in here, yeah, because I'm trying to keep these edges straight at the same time. So I'm just going to sew my 1/4 inch scant this time and take notes of my points as I do it. Alright, so I've just sewn that together. Put my jackal pen back up there, one of my shoes anyway. I've kept my points, hopefully, yeah, on that one. And if you look, they are matching in height here. Okay, very happy with that. Now, as you know, they did not match in height before I re-ironed it, repressed it, redid everything. Here's the next one on my quilt, and hope you can see this on camera for now. Yeah, at the moment, the best will in the world, if the bottom matches, the top isn't. So I need to go and press this, and as I say, I got my 12.5 inch ruler, which is the ultimate goal, but it may not work out. But it just shows me really if I'm getting any better, yeah? At the moment, I'm 1/4 inch right across the top short. So I'm going to go and steam this and repress it. As I said, when I'm doing this, I am really putting my weight on that iron, and like the iron is holding that, and I am really pulling it as I iron it back. I am stretching it as I iron it back. If you've done as I do, 180 1.8 or 180, whichever way you look at it, stitches, so they're short stitches, those seams are not going to come apart. So now I've ironed it again. Ooh, looky, looky, loo. Whereas you saw, I was a good 1/4 inch out on height. That's all I'm worried about at the moment is height. Not now, am I? I'm all right. So now I can bring back from my centre square, and I can pin. Oh look, all of a sudden it's ready perfect. So I pin to there, I turn it round, and I'll pin this end, yeah. I want to make sure that my square is sitting in line, and I can tell it's sitting in line because now from the square, the other side of the central one, I can see where my seams are, so I can see where my seams match up, and all I'll do now is just put a pin in there so it doesn't move, so it's keeping it straight. As I said, I'm not worried about the width. The only thing I'm concerned with, I will put a pin in here, actually. I am just going to put a pin in there because, as I said, the only thing I'm concerned with now is not losing these points, yeah? So again, scant 1/4, mark your points if you're not certain, and you can always go along, up a little bit, and along, up a little bit, and take them into account gradually, okay? So I'm now going to sew 1/4 inch along there.